doing something, putting the affordable housing plan in place is doing something. That was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. If we then have an opportunity to change the zoning to meet the comprehensive plan, and we don't do something, or we make it virtually impossible to use half the district we said we were going to use to put affordable housing, and I recognize 100+ properties, but those are single residence properties size-wise. They're not multiple, or duplex, or multiple housing. And affordable housing, from a practical standpoint, is going to be multiple family, not single family residences. Almost by definition, from a practical standpoint, not legally, but from a practical standpoint, if you're talking big A affordable housing, you're probably going to have to be talking about multiple family units. That's just the reality. So I'm just saying, if we sit on our hands and don't do anything at this point, the state can come back and get pretty nasty about it. You are not living up to what you said you were going to do.
Well, actually, Barry, though, you could have some single family on some of these oversized lots. You could have big A on some of them. It might be a small house because the lot obviously is going to be a little smaller too. But you could have some, I don't know, I'm not in the construction business. Mike, is it possible to?
Well, my point is that making a lot into a duplex, it might solve some particular individual's problem, but it doesn't solve Jamestown's problem. What we need is multifamily.
I guess I'm a little confused. I thought we just spent 2 years working on revisions that mostly centered on these substandard, or these oversized lots that were going to create our affordable housing. What I'm not really understanding is, where was this discussion during that 2-year period? How come we are acting as if we have no affordable housing in, opportunities in Jamestown, when we've just gone through 2 years of investigation to put into place the oversized lots idea? And that was one of our main thrusts. Where was the conversation about multifamily housing and duplexes at that point? How come it's a crisis now when it wasn't a crisis then? I'm just stunned. That you guys can be saying that we don't have any affordable housing. By the way, I would like an opportunity to read the darn document before we actually vote on it, but you guys do what you want. I just don't understand why for 2 years we've been talking about this big revision, and now we have a crisis on our hands because the state is going to come down and slam us because we're not looking at affordable housing. And we didn't mention multifamily. I don't remember anybody, getting on, bringing up and saying, well, wait, what about multifamily? Well, wait, what about duplex housing? It's been 2 years we've been having this conversation. What happened?
Well, I would like to say, Nancy, that it hasn't been because we haven't tried. We had several good projects come before us, or almost come before us, and for one reason or another, they fell through. An example is Southwest Avenue, or the Swain property, or Lawson's property, which the neighborhood came out in full gun barrel against the thing.
Well, it was wet too.
Well, it's wet because, let's not go there, it's wet because, but that's not a whole other thing. It's not because we haven't tried.
I'm not saying we haven't tried in that respect. I'm saying in our amendments, in what we've been doing with our zoning revision, what we've been concentrating on is the oversized lots creating a regular size and a substandard that would be affordable housing. What I don't remember hearing is a lot of conversation when we were doing the zoning revision about multifamily and duplex. And I guess I'm really kind of almost offended that we're doing it as an afterthought when we had 2 years to be dealing with it. And it's only coming up now after the spotlight is off.
Well, that's simply just disingenuous, but I'm not going to address that. But we said at the very outset of approving this that there are going to be things that we may have forgotten. There are going to be changes that we may want to make next week, next month, 2 months, 6 months. We need to work with the document. This is one of those situations. This is not an undercover scheme that we're doing just to
I know it's an undercover scheme. I'm just thinking that the rhetoric has gotten has gotten outsized from what the real issue is.
But I think that's inevitable when you look at something, when you add it back in, you're going to look at those numbers. I mean, if we had focused on this topic, we would have looked at the numbers, and I think it's completely natural. I don't think anything that we're doing is abnormal, unnatural. We're gonna look at the numbers and say, are they reasonable? And I think that is what we are doing right now.
Don't you think that's probably just a personnel change on the planning board too?
It could be.
Okay, we've got a motion with a second. Is there any more discussion directly related?
Yeah, if I had that motion to do over again, I would probably make it 80,000 instead.
Well, you can't do that. Okay. We're going to take care of this one first.
Well, you could amend it, and see if
I'd like to amend that to 80,000, which would be 4 times, and it would be consistent with the other districts.
Okay, all right, so Gary has now seconded the amendment to the motion. So now, Michael's motion would change the number in the R20 lot size requirement for multifamily from 200 to 80, which on the map relates to everything that is green and yellow. Any other discussion directly related to that
Yes.
amended motion?
Yeah, I'd like to say some in discussion. If you look at the map, you'll see that there are several parcels that are on the water, and I think it's highly unlikely that they would ever be subdivided for affordable housing. So I think it's not as onerous as it looks.
I was gonna make that same point. I counted up, there's, between the green and the yellow, there's 15 lots, of which 6 of them are on the water. And I agree with Gary 100% that it's very unlikely that those 6 that are on the water will ever be multiple families. So you're really talking about, of all the lots we're talking 9 lots that are effectively put into play with this motion.
The other question I had about the floodplain area along Southwest Avenue is how far that extended toward that lot 4, or lot 810, lot 809. I didn't know whether those would be encompassed by it, but it may be that that's fairly low-lying property, at least part of it. The floodplain, it comes along here, I think it goes up here.
Oh, no, 809 and 810 are pretty high and dry. I think you're thinking of the beige area. Right
Yeah,
off
that is,
Southwest
I think that's right, I
Yeah.
think you're right, it is the beige area, but it comes along the bottom of number
Just
4.
a
Yes.
couple of these, and this isn't, I think it's sort of down like
You think it's closer to them? Okay.
Yeah, like lot 674 and 28, only about maybe half of that is actually walkable. The rest of it is salt.
Those are wetland.
Yeah, those are underwater.
The Southwest Avenue yellow properties are wetland
that. From
properties.
here down,
There's about half of them. And then these are,
that's what I say, it doesn't, there's so little, I don't think it's worth.
Yeah, some of these are big lots because they're not usable.
That's right. Can I ask for another clarification? The table 10.1, as you recommended the changes, Lisa, this has to do with how we might feel about the 200,000 or 100,000 or 80,000, is you have 7,000 square feet per bedroom to be added to the minimum lot size. Is that the minimum lot size for multifamily dwellings or for a single-family dwelling?
Multifamily, these are all multifamily.
So for every bedroom, you would add 7,000 feet to 80,000 feet,
Yes,
if we approve this motion.
yes.
Right, so you're right back up to 100, right?
Right, so it's better spots, you better start with the 80 and work up.
well, what I want to know is if this is such a dire emergency that we do something, why are we doing something what we're considering relatively ineffective? And, or is this
I'll
a...
amend the motion.
I'm just saying, let's go back and look at it in a more comprehensive, in a more realistic, in a more meaningful
Okay,
way.
all right, we've got a motion on the table, Nancy, we can do that after we vote.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor of Michael's amended motion, 80,000 to change the 200,000 to 80,000. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye, I'm nay.
No.
All right, we have,
Two roll call, wait.
You better do it.